So I got out of my car and I was like, holy shit, like I was like screaming because I wasn't even screaming because I was hurt. I was screaming because my car was like, it was just completely wrecked. It was completely, if people remember me from back then, like I was a completely different person before my car accident, definitely for sure. I was just absolutely outraged because I couldn't pay for it. And this old lady came up to me and she was like, you need to calm down, like you need to sit down, like you're not okay right now. And basically it was my right foot and my right hand. So I had, this hand was completely broken. As you can see, it's a little bit like, you can't really tell, only if you like can feel my hand, is that my bone is like kind of like slanted inward. So if you trace my hand, it's supposed to be kind of like straight lined up and in. I'm not right-handed, I'm left-handed, so it kind of sucks. But the bone's kind of like curved in. I broke my thumb in 3 places and my wrist in 2 places. All the thumb injuries were like straight through, full breaks, like straight through the bone to the point kind of breaks. They weren't like little pieces. And then my foot, there was a lot going on with my foot because I kept getting re-diagnosed with things. At first, they didn't tell me that I had any breakage in my foot. They said I was completely fine. It was just a sprain. And we went to the doctor to get my hand casted because it happened like that night when it happened. They couldn't cast my hand. They needed an orthopedic and one wasn't on duty. So I had to go to the next day to get my hand casted. And we went to take an x-ray of my foot and they were like, oh honey, like your foot is messed up. So they first said I just broke my foot, and then they discovered later, after putting me in a boot for around like after like 2 weeks of wearing a boot, they x-rayed my foot and they saw that I had an ankle break. And I was like, how do you miss that? Like, how do you miss something like that? Because it wasn't a small break, like it was a huge break in my upper ankle. Like, it was like absolutely like the most painful thing, and I was still having all this pain after like 6 or 7 weeks. And I was so frustrated because I couldn't like nobody was telling me like what was wrong with it, because like I've broken bones before. Like, trust me, like I have broken my shoulder, like both my shoulders twice. I've broken my clavicle. And I just was so frustrated because I couldn't walk still after like 6 or 7 weeks. It was still so painful to like even put it down like with the boot on. Like, it was a walking boot. Like, you're supposed to be able to walk if you like pump it up. So I was just getting very upset, and we went back and they were like, okay, we'll take an MRI, you might have some issues with your muscles. And I was like, okay. And I went and go take an MRI, and then a week later after I took the MRI, they took me in and they're like, well, you don't have any tears, but you have a huge fracture in your heel. And so your heel is shaped like this bone right here, and the breakage was in here outward, so that my heel was basically swelled up, and the breakage was in the middle of the heel from the impact. It wasn't like a breakage from something hitting me, it was like the force from the accident. And I was like, how, like, why didn't you think of that? Like, I've been in so much pain. I've been literally not been able to walk. Like, I haven't, like, what am I supposed to do? So back to after all the injuries, all my injuries, basically, I had 3 breakages in my thumb, here, out here, and down here, across into my palm, and then 2 breaks, one right here, and then one in here in my wrist. And then the foot injuries I had on the side of my foot, I'm not going to show you my feet. If this is my foot, and this is my big toe right here. There was a breakage on this side of my foot. There was a breakage on my high ankle, so like around here. and it was like a breakage like right through, but it stopped kind of like in the middle. And then in the heel of my foot, it was broken from the inside outward. And I was in a cast for around 10 weeks, like a hand cast. I still have it. I'll show you it. It smells so bad, but this is my cast. I'm sure some of the OG people who've been here since like 30K know, but this was my cast. It's kind of gross. You can kind of tell, like, if I put my, it's giving me PTSD. Oh my god. This is what it looked like. This is my hand. After around maybe 10 weeks of that, I was put into this. If you remember this, this was my brace, and I wore this for around 8 or 9 weeks. So 18 weeks. This was it. This was the hand brace thing. It was kind of annoying because, see right here, this is like the place where you put your thumb, and I would like kind of hold it more loose because it was too tight. This would like grip onto my pants, and you can tell with these pants, but it would grab onto the side of like my sweatpants, and it would make this little mess of my pants. You can tell all of this is from this like sticking and like pulling up. So like when I would rest my hand down, it would pull and leave little marks in my pants like that, because I didn't wear anything besides sweatpants for months because I was wearing a boot. Yeah, Mom? Okay. Okay. I don't know why that was significant. What? Okay. No, they haven't sent anything out, Mom. You would get the email too. What? Okay, it's not May yet, so I can't do anything about that. Okay, sorry. My mother wants to ask a question. Alright, sorry. So after when I got into the car accident, I got out of my car and I was freaking out, and I was like, holy shit, like, what do I do? I got sat down and I was panicking, and I looked down at my hand and it was completely just like I couldn't move it. Like it was probably like it was some of the worst pains I've ever felt because it was broken in so many places. And basically, I got, there was 2 ambulances through this whole process and a helicopter. People who hit me were around 50 to 60 years old, so they were older than me by obviously a lot. And the first thing that they thought was my fault, and I was treated very poorly. The old people didn't have any, like, injuries that they knew of. And they basically, got the old people out of their car first. They took the old people, and they put them in a helicopter, and they sent them to the nearest hospital. And then for me, they just stuck me in an EMT, and they were like, okay, you're gonna go to this hospital, and basically all 4 sections of the intersection were blocked off because the car accident was in the middle of the intersection, so there's traffic everywhere, and we couldn't get to the hospital. And before they even started the car, they had the police interview me while I was in astronomical pain. Like, I was in so much pain because I had finally calmed down and my adrenaline stopped kicking in. And I was freaking out, and they, in the middle of this, they had to, stop my route to the hospital for them to interview me. And I thought that was actually, I get it. But there's cameras, there was witnesses. They didn't interview the old people at all. They just, basically, they stopped me, and I was the one with visible injuries and extreme pain as a kid. Scared. My parents weren't at the scene. None of my family members knew yet. Nobody knew. The 2 old people were not in pain. They sat in their car. I didn't even have a word with the man who actually hit me. I've never talked to him, ever. He didn't even look at me one time in this whole entire process. And so what they decided to do is, after they got me interviewed, they decided to give me drugs because I was in such high pain. And so they started to, the reason why I was freaking out is because my parents had no idea, and I thought my parents were going to be mad at me because I got into a car accident. The first thing on my mind that I was going to say to them, I was going to say, it wasn't my fault, it wasn't my fault. And they kind of just, pushed me into this era where I didn't really want to be interviewed by police. I was in so much pain, I just wanted to go to the hospital, I wanted to feel better, and I was scared. I didn't know anybody around me, and they expected me to just be okay with being interviewed by 2 law enforcement people that I had no idea what was going on. And then basically what happened after that is that they gave me drugs because of the fact that I was scared, I was in pain, and the drugs were supposed to calm me down. It's supposed to help with pain. It's supposed to be an automatic pain reliever. But they basically, they set up an IV in the hand that wasn't broken, because obviously they can't set up a IV in a hand that is broken. That's just kind of 101, common sense. And when they administered the drugs, because the EMT knew that I was taller, I'm taller, I weigh more, I'm 140 pounds, he thought I could handle more drugs than a regular person, and especially because I'm in a state where I am in excruciating pain that I'm going to need more drugs. and he ordered like he ordered like 2 doses of fentanyl, which I don't know if you know what fentanyl is, but it is a very, 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 very addictive drug. It also is very strong. Millions of people die from this drug from the streets. All the time. It's a very deadly drug. You can easily die on this drug. And so they gave me 2 doses of fentanyl, and they registered it, and they pushed it through the IV, and then we started trying to get to the hospital because there was a lot of traffic. We couldn't really get through it. And what ended up happening is that I don't want to say that I died, because I didn't, technically. I mean, technically I did, but I was still here, obviously. But the drugs that I did have, actually ended up stopping my heart because of the amount that they gave me. It was a lot, and I'm only a kid. I do have nicotine, but I don't take heavy drugs. I don't take any like substances like that. Like I don't have a hard, like I don't have a tolerance for drugs at all. So they said that I coded, that I basically died. I don't remember anything at all. And people talk about like they want to talk about how they died and come back to life and they see things, but like I didn't see anything. I don't remember it. I remember being blurry when I woke up, and I remember being confused. But like I had a huge amount of chest pain after because of the they're like, well, I don't know what the exact term it is, but they put these little chest pads on you and they shock your heart. I'm sure there's a term out there that it's called, but it basically like electrocutes you, brings you back to life. And I'm sure you've seen them. They rub them together and say 1, 2, 3, clear. Oh, defibrillator, yes. Yeah. It was one of those, and they said they used that on me. They said they did CPR with a what's it called? One of those like respiratory things. So they like shove like a tube down your throat rather than like give you mouth to mouth, because technically they weren't allowed to give me mouth to mouth because they were protocoling for if like they are taking care of me if I consent to them, like if I'm giving them consent to help me. I don't know how I'm trying to phrase this, is that like even though my parents didn't consent for them to help me, it was in a matter where I needed to be helped, and because I'm underage, they made this decision for me to save my life, I guess. Even though they were the ones who technically killed me. And I went to the hospital, obviously. They gave me more drugs, which I don't know why they gave me more drugs, but they did. And I think my car accident happened this year, or 2018 November, right? No, 2019 November. I was 17. I'm still 17 if you wanted to know. And what was I saying? They gave me more drugs when I got there. I don't think it was fentanyl, but it was definitely a type of drug that I think it was either I think it was morphine, to be honest with you. I don't think it was fentanyl. Yeah, I think it was morphine. They gave me morphine. They had me lay there. They assessed my injuries. They x-rayed me. They put me in this, like, it wasn't like a cast thing. It was like, it's almost like a foam, like, they like cut out my hand in this like giant foam thing, and they wrapped it around, and they put a splint underneath of it. It was a splint, but it was like made out of foam. Like, it was like they cut my hand out of this foam piece. They put the splint on my hand like this, and then they wrapped the foam around it. It was very weird. Very, very weird. And yeah, so basically, I went home that night on crutches. They said I didn't have any breakage to my foot, but further learned out that I did. And so, yeah, the accident wasn't my fault. That was, like, people, like, I haven't really talked about my car accident a lot because, like, I mean, it's still kind of prevalent to me because I do go to physical therapy 3 times a week for this injury still. But, basically, like, I guess the reason why I wanted to come on live is that, like, my car accident had, I guess, the video that I posted that night, because I felt like I almost felt like, I don't want to say this, like, to make you sad, but, like, if I didn't have, like, a second reason to live, like, I wouldn't have. Like, if it was my end, it would have been my end. But there's another reason why I lived. Because when it's your time to go, it's your time to go. You don't have anything else in your life planned. I mean, unless it really is something like a tragedy. If it's your time to go, it's your time to go. But it wasn't, I guess. So basically, a video of mine resurfaced a few days ago, and it's the video that I posted the night of my car accident. And, you know, the initial response to that video was very kind, and all the people who commented on it were very nice. They were very supportive, and they definitely, like, helped me. And it resurfaced, and people were starting to say that it was, like, my fault. And stuff like that. And I got a lot of new followers from that, and I'm about to hit 100K, which is pretty cool. But you know, I just wanted to, like, come on to live and talk about it, because I don't want people to think that I posted that video for attention, because I'm really, honestly, like, I'm really not, I don't like attention. I don't like a lot of attention. Like, I know I have a lot of followers, and I should probably like attention if I have a lot of followers, but I really don't. Like, I would be okay if I didn't have any followers at all. But the video, like, people were being really mean underneath of it. So I wanted to I guess, just come, I want it to come onto you. What is going on? I'm very confused on what just happened. So, yeah, so basically, I don't want anyone to go and scroll down and go look at the comments because I've been deleting majority of the mean ones because, I mean, you know, that video was supposed to be an uplifting thing. It was supposed to be like a video used for uplifting purposes, and it was a good meaning behind it because it was a very raw video, and there's not a lot of raw videos that I make. Like, I make a lot of funny videos. I make a lot of funny content. It's literally like if you scroll all the way down, like you can find it. Like there's two of them. They both have like 20K likes on them. It's towards the bottom, but it's on my profile. If you scroll all the way down. But I just wanted to tell people that if it does resurface, because it has been on the For You page recently, that I just don't want people to think that that video was for attention or any bad meaning behind it, because it was something to be learned. It was a video that I needed to have learned. It's a lesson learned, not just for him, the person who crashed into me. It was like a lesson for me that like sometimes life doesn't go according to plan, and my life got so bad for a few months. Like, I was so just not me. Like, I was just not me. I was, like, me and my girlfriend were always fighting. We, like, separated and got back together all the time because of the fact that, like, you know, and because, like, it resurfaced, like, I'm not coming on here to, like, tell everyone that, like, I don't want people to come on and like spread the hate because it resurfaced, and I can't do anything about it be resurfacing. Like, it happened months ago. Like, it was it's just like rude. It's just mean. Like something that has like truly like affected who I was. Like, if you take a look from back from that time. Like, if you met me before my car accident and then continued watching my videos and then look at me now, I'm just like a different person. And that video is not really a video for attention or things. Like, it was like truly like that was such like a bad thing that happened to me. And it pissed me off so bad because everyone was like, "Oh, this is like just for attention. Like this it probably was her fault." And then the girl who duetted me and was like, "Oh, this is her fault." Like she had a decent amount of followers too. It's not she had less followers than me, but um she duetted it and basically she had no idea like the index of the story and she just like completely turned it around and was like, yeah, these teenagers are getting into a car accident because of their car. And during that time, I literally had like 30K followers. Like, I wasn't really like popping yet. Like, I wasn't like extremely popping. Like, I was just kind of like there. And like, from my car accident since then, I almost have like 100K now, which is like a huge growth. It's a lot of followers that you can gain. She kind of made me feel like that few months of my life where I felt like I wasn't me, like it wasn't fair, like the whole world wasn't fair. Like she made me feel like all that pain was a joke. Like she made me feel like almost like I felt attacked, but not like the type of attack where it's like cancel culture. Like I felt like personally like she was coming for me, like that hurt like in a different level. Like you can make fun of how I look or how I dress or how I say things or how I act, like whatever, like that's your opinion, but like it's like me making fun of like your mom dying or like me making fun of something bad happening in your life and just making it into a joke and then invalidating you basically. So she, the girl, I'm not really gonna name her because hopefully I hope she takes it down. I DM'd her and I told her to take it down. But, the initial reaction of her duetting and like making me feel like bad about it was just like, wow. Like that's the low we have hit. Which it sucks. She kind of is. She probably didn't mean it to be rude or facetious or any of that regard, but like I feel like it's just like common sense to not duet a video that you just obviously you don't know anything about. So if you see that on the For You page, don't pay attention to it. I really don't want people going after her. That's why I didn't like react to her video because like whatever, like I want her to take it down, like that's it. But I have a feeling she's not going to take it down because she got a decent amount of likes on it, which is gonna suck. But yeah, so I'm going to get off live because I'm going to go talk to my girlfriend because I miss her. So yeah, goodbye, I guess. I'll probably go live. Probably go live later. I'm probably gonna go play some Fortnite or something.